Hey, welcome, everybody. I'm Coach Corey Three-Wing, and I've got a special guest with me tonight, Coach JP Horgan in Canada. We have come together as a collaboration of sorts to put together some content for you guys. And tonight we're going to be talking about values, creating beliefs, which create our behaviors. And as we do this work, we're talking about coaching, we're talking about the science of transformation. We're talking about our natural born ability to be ever evolving and ever growing in our own self-healing, as well as we step in to help others do their healing. And so I think this is a really amazing topic. I've spent some time over the last couple of years really researching this and playing with this with some of my clients and some of my colleagues and in my group coaching. And so we've kind of rewritten this tonight. And so you guys are getting a hot off the presses new version. And so what I'd like you all to do tonight is make sure you've got a good pad of paper and a pen, because what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to stay in the bubble for a little while. So it's kind of like a guided meditation, but we don't need to be the Zen man sitting on the side of the hill. I just want you to imagine that you can imagine. As we ask questions, I'd like you to wonder and wander and ponder about what's possible and what got you here, and where we're going on this journey. Because we're going to look at the values that got us here, and then we're going to look at the values of the dream ahead. And then we're going to talk about those differences. But let's get into it with values. I want to talk about the definition of values. And so, I like to go to, the online dictionaries, and I find values, and I just kind of I don't really write them down exactly, because I'm looking for a definition kind of through the coaching or transformation lens. And so I found three. Definition of values. The first one I thought was important was relative worth, merit, or importance. So that's kind of the one that we expect. The second definition of values is principles that help you decide what is right and wrong and how to act in various situations. Now I think we're getting a little closer to what we're talking about. And the third definition of values, which I think really applies to us, is emotional states that are important to you. We value our emotions. Our emotions teach us so many things. They guide us, they shape us, they direct us, they control our reactions and our creations. So I thought that was very interesting to me. Emotional states that are important. So an example is that values may be positive, such as peace and love and cleanliness and freedom or education. But values can also be negative or dark, like cruelty, crime, revenge, and blasphemy. So how do we use our values? Your values are an internal representation, a picture, a feeling, or a sound of what is encoded in your unconscious mind as being the most important things to you or in an area of your life. As we take a quick peek at your current values, we'll ask a couple of quick questions. So once again, as we go through this, as we ask these questions, feel free to ponder, write the question down, but really more so, write down some answers. And as you're writing down answers, I'm more interested in you guys writing down single words, initial responses, your first impressions, maybe some symbols or drawings, but not necessarily finished, complete sentences or paragraphs. It's more about a map to find your way back. So some of these kind of questions about your values. How do you know a value? A quick peek at your current values is, what kinds of things take up your attention? What do you think about most often? Let's take a second and write down 2 or 3 of those things. What do you think about? What takes your time? Where do you spend the majority of your time? This could be places, things, people, energies, emotions, but whatever's dominant, whatever pops into your universe. What are you thinking about? Where are you spending your time? And I love this one. A real good way to get a sense of some of your values is, where do you give your money? Where are you spending your money? Are you spending it on yourself, your family, on joy, on avoidance, on addiction, on support, investment, education, some of these values? How do you know your values? In cognitive psychology, our core values are considered to be deeper than beliefs. And I really believe that in this context of this conversation, is that our values create our beliefs, right? They hover at the deepest level of your unconscious or subconscious mind. Your values are actually imprinted on you long before our beliefs, and they are programmed as images in your unconscious mind as a young child, which is why I said possibly, as you're harvesting your notes today, there might be a symbol or an image or a drawing, because maybe a very young part of you will have a picture of a star or a light or a candle or a circle. It could also be colors, images, concepts, and ideas. So be open, imagine that you can imagine harvesting your values in a new way, maybe that you've never done before. Research shows that early values first occur between the age of 0 and 3 years old. And so memory 1 is like the all of you, your superconscious, the all of you. Memory 2 is emotional. We develop our ability to be emotional somewhere in vitro to around 2-ish. So that could be just an emotional value. And then somewhere around 2 to 3 up until 7 or 8 years old, we develop the ability to think about our emotional experience or our intellect. And so there could also be an intellectual value from childhood. So a little bit of clarity about how early our values get imprinted on us. And we run with those often our entire lives, well into adulthood, and maybe even pass them on to our children. Right, so these core values are set in place, and we work with them until they're troublesome. Then we coach, we heal, and we change them. So it's important to understand with values is that we all choose and experience our values by ourselves. We do it alone. Values must be feelings that you can achieve by yourself without requiring others to behave in any particular way. So loved is not a value, as it's an objective or a wish. It requires another person to behave in a certain way. However, lovable is a value because you can do this without others behaving differently or doing anything at all. So there's a little differentiation about what a value really is. It's something that we choose and we do it alone. So knowing your values enables you to do a couple of things. One, you'll be more in control of your actions and your emotions. When we know our values, we know what's going on. We know why things are meaningful, why they're important. We make better decisions. Since we have greater awareness of what is truly important, we think better thoughts. We're aware of a bigger world. We communicate more clearly. We ask for things that really matter in a new and delicious way. We also recognize that you need to do better and feel better and then do good and amazing things. When you know your values, you always feel better because you choose it, you create it. You're in touch with what's meaningful, then you do good, and then amazing things start to happen. And that's contagious and it grows. It becomes significant. Another one is that we find lots of new and different ways of fulfilling our values rather than doing the same old things as before. When our values are growth and opportunity and willingness to go into the unknown with confidence, we're ever growing and ever loving and ever creating. So today in this first journal assignment, which there will be several of these today, I'm going to ask you to answer a couple of these questions. JP, are you ready to jump in right here? Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So underneath journal assignment, your current values got you here today, right? Your current values from your past and your childhood, maybe your teens and 20s, whatever it is, those values created the life that you're living in today. And as we look forward about what we're creating and who we want to become, I mean, a new identity or a new job, a new life, a new money, we set up a new identity and new values, and we harvest them too. All right, JP, I'm handing the ball to you.
And so don't overthink it. Just kind of write down the first thing that pops in your head when we ask these questions. And the first question would be, what are your definitions or your understandings of your current values?
Yeah. So what are your definitions of values? What does it mean? What does that mean? And then your understanding of your own values. You may not understand. Just give you a second to ponder and wonder about what is a value? What are your values and how do you understand them? Yeah.
And we're going to run through it quick. It's not,
Yep.
you can go back to it later, but it's not, whatever comes in your head first is probably
Exactly.
close to the right answer. So another one would be, who do you admire?
Mentors, heroes, teachers, superheroes. Yeah. Who do you respect? Your favorite people. The ones who have touched you the most, who you've learned from, you respect. Inventors, heroes, award-winning medals. Cool people.
And next we'd ask, what inspires you? What motivates you? What kind of things light you up and turn you on?
Yeah. What did you learn from your mentors and teachers that you carry forward and you wear so proudly? Yeah. When you're inspired, how do you carry that forward? How does it touch you? How do you see it? How do you hear it? How do you taste it? How do you smell it? How do you feel it in your body?
And when do you most feel like yourself? Who are you with? What are you doing?
When you're the most safe, your true self, who you really are, attached to your true nature and purpose. Yeah.
And Corey kind of touched on it earlier, but where in your life do you spend most of your time or attention? Where does your focus lie?
Yeah.
If you value safety and you're in a room with everyone, you're looking for the fire exits, you're looking for the fire extinguishers.
Mhm.
And if you value adventure, you're not worried if you get there late, you're not worried what seat you're sitting in, who's going to be there or anything. You probably don't even know how you got there.
Yeah.
And so where do you wish you were? That's another one. Where would you like to be that you're not? What kind of dreams do you have? Where are you going in those dreams?
Yeah. Wishes, dreams, loves, desires, delights, delicious. Yeah.
And what kind of feelings are you having most of the time? Do you spend your time in gratitude? I heard somebody say earlier. What kind of emotions are you feeling? These can also dictate some of your values. And the final one there is, what do you love the very most and why?
What do you love? Who do you love? What places do you love? Just like the first part of the sixth phase, when we touch compassion and love, we harvest love and we grow love. That's what this is about. What do you value about love? What are your love values? Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. So this next chunk, we're getting into values as results. Like, what are the results of our values? Like, why is this important? Why do we do this? This tool called values. So today, what I'd like to do is take the cellophane off the tool. Let's sharpen it, wash it, oil it, and make it ready to use. Because being aware of your values and how they play a role in how you create your life is a good way to see how you got where you are now and where you're going. Choosing new values and knowing how they play a significant role in how you create what you desire, it changes your emotions to the positive. And what was impossible actually becomes possible. What you thought you couldn't do, you wake up and think, I can, and I get to. So have a look at your past values now. Like, what got you here? I'm inviting you to stand in the present moment and gaze backwards at the lifeline of your experience, right? Look at your past values and how they show up in your current reality today. What would you like to create next? That would be looking forward. We're going to get there, but right now, looking back, your values are creating your beliefs. What do you believe true right now? And what's the value that created the belief? Like right now, like we all became coaches in this circle. There's a belief that we can, or we should, or we're going to, we showed up here. What got you here? What was the value that got you into this class or on this journey, or when you signed up to get certified? Right, and then that belief created the behavior to pay the money, to show up, to do the thing, to do the work right now, to pick up the pen and write on the pad. Values to beliefs to behavior. The importance of what holds value for you gets and maintains your attention. It gets and maintains your attention. When it's a high value, we get into like flow states and timelessness because it feels good and it's delicious and we love what we're doing. So what has your attention a lot of the time holds that significant value for you. So what you focus on grows and you manifest what you think about. So today you are living in a world you created from a set of values you set in place in the past, before now. What was important to you in many ways in the past has shown up in just as many ways in your life today. Values, feelings, beliefs, intellectualizing your feelings, and behaviors, actions, what you do or do not do. Values create beliefs, belief create action you take, and the action you create in the world creates it. That's how we manifest. So values are imprinted on us again. Once we're little, we might have been wounded as a kid, and so then in order to play safe forever, we may never get in the water again, or we may never walk home in that direction again. So when our intellect goes, well, wait a minute, I'm older now, that makes no sense. That old value has expired, but it's been running for years. That's a great example. Values are imprinted on us and we carry them, but we get to re-imprint them. Sociologist Morris Macy has described 3 major periods which values are developed, right? And I really think that's the memory 1, memory 2, and memory 3 that I mentioned earlier. Memories that like that all of you, the soul consciousness of you, the super conscious of you, which is your ultimate creativity. And then there's your emotional childhood, and then there's intellectual childhood. We talked about that a little bit. And it's important. This is important. Values must be feelings that you can achieve by yourself without requiring others to behave in a particular way, like I said earlier. Loved is not a value, but lovable is, right? Just a reminder. So the value of knowing your values. You want to take this section, JP? The value of knowing your values.
Yeah, so knowing your values enables you to do a bunch of things. One is be more in control of your actions and your emotions. When you know your values, you can make better decisions since you have greater awareness of what's truly important. You recognize what you need to do to feel good, find lots of different ways of fulfilling them rather than doing some of the old things from before. Your top 5 values are the most influential in how you live your life. While others exist and they are important, they do not have much influence on your behaviors or help you prioritize them. By becoming consciously aware of your values, you can use them to make more informed decisions and set goals.
Yeah. Thanks, JP. So, so what is this value? We're talking a lot, but we're also creating some structure around understanding how to write them down. So a value is a button that drives behavior. We're going to push a button. We're going to trigger a button to get you to do something. Your own higher self or your subconscious is going to push a button because it believes something to be true to get something done. So whatever you whatever you do is done in order to fulfill that value, even though it is likely you're not consciously aware of that value, especially the childish ones, the childhood ones. For example, you exercise outside to fulfill the value of health and vitality, benefiting from the relaxed state that it produces, enjoying the warmth of the sun and the sea, etc. Another would be you drink alcohol to fulfill the value of feeling less inhibited, to enjoy the social scene involved, to enjoy the taste of the drink, etc. Another one is that you would buy fashionable new clothes to fulfill the value of appearance, looking good, looking right for work, or not looking dowdy or sloppy. Although many of us like to think of ourselves as rational human beings, in reality, all of us are emotionally driven by our values. So this gets us to this next section of, okay, we're going to get into your current values. Like, what's going on for you today? What's really happening? Let's have a look at your life right now. So from here, looking back, your past values have created your life as you know it. So where are you content? Where are you content? Where are you confident and calm? Where are you calm in your life right now? What brings you joy and happiness? What makes you sad or angry? Where are you sure of yourself in confidence, standing proud and tall? And where do you question yourself in stop and hesitation? How do you play, rest, and rejuvenate? And when do you give too much, too soon, too hard? Where are you willing to go into something unknown, hungry for something new and ready for a change? Do you seek and desire a big change? Are you running away from something? What would that be and why? Are you running towards something? And what would that be? And how does that feel? What you have always longed for? What have you longed for, always wished for, think you could have? Longing, desire, wishes. Where are you uncomfortable? Where are you suffering? Do you describe in vivid detail how things are hard and why they suck? Do you get a rush from telling and retelling your story about how your life is hard? Do you feel stuck or like you can't move? And if you're stuck and you can't move, or you're in your victim mindset, what is the value of that? What is the gift you receive by doing that, by committing to that? There's a gift in there. Everything we're experiencing has a hidden or a known value. Values are not classified as good or bad. Our subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between good or bad. It just knows you're active and what keeps you safe. There is a gift in everything. Everything we experience in life has a value that influences our beliefs that in turn set behaviors in motion. Positive values are easier to identify and take pride in, but negative values are often more silent, but have just as much power to influence. So the values, the feelings we want or don't want, there's values underneath all of our feelings. And here we're asking for the opportunity to find the values in the uncomfortable ones. If you want to have a different life experience, you have to, and you get to, choose and change the way you see and feel about things. We are all too familiar with the sensation of reacting to the past right here in the present. That is a clear example of your old values still being powerful right now. Dreaming forward is a way of shopping for, choosing and knowing well what you love and how you want to feel and what your new values are right now, today. So how excited are you? How uncomfortable are you? Is that positively charged? Is it negatively charged? And what is the gift you receive for making that investment? And are you ready to choose and make a change? So remember, knowing and choosing your values and their relative importance is a key. It's a key to the lock to a happy and healthy life. All values are perceived and used as motivation for behavior to run away from or towards something you are emotionally charged about. JP, do you want to give some of these examples?
Yeah, so with loyalty to family as a value, this can mean that you can never do what you love because you're trying to be loyal to your family and they might not like it. It could mean that your kids are your priority.
Right, so it's both sides. Yeah, so these examples have a positive and a negative.
And so with competency as a value, perhaps this means that you have to learn all the things before you even take action, or it could mean that you take pride in being good at something you enjoy.
Right.
When you talk about reputation as a value, this could mean what other people think is more important than your own thoughts, or it could mean that you deeply honor your role as a respected community leader.
Right.
With security as a value, perhaps this means that you're guarding home from intruders, or it could mean that you're investing funds for a comfortable retirement. And with citizenship as a value, this could mean that you need to gain citizenship into a new nation to be safe from terrorism, or it could mean deep national pride and the desire to be in service to the greater good.
Right. So there's a couple of examples of a common familiar word as a value, but it's perceived in different ways, positively, negatively, whatever that could be. And of course, there's a million examples of these things, but we wanted to give you guys a little context. So in the world of values, I love to propose the idea is that in your behaviors and beliefs with your values, what are you trading for? What do you make? What's the exchange of working your values? Your exchange of attention and time for what? What exactly is the trade? And what does it really cost you? Is it the time, the energy, the money, the emotion? What is the trade for the values you hold so dear? What are you willing to trade for that investment or commitment? Once again, what gets your attention? What gets the most of your attention and why? What gets your money and why? What gets your time and how much of your time and why? You do you all day long. I do me all day long. We are so personal and selfish all day long in such a great way. Your priorities take your attention and your resources all day long. It's a really great way to harvest your values. Your priorities take your attention and your resources. So what makes these things worth the gift of the power of your attention? It must be worth the time spent. You obviously care about it. You can't get all that time back. You must feel deeply that this is important. What are those values that keep you in the exchange? Have your values changed from the past? Are you aware of the change, the shifting of your values? Is all that old story really worth it now, today? Or is it just still running? Does your current condition or opportunity for growth go against your old values? So this next, okay, what sets the values? We've talked a little bit about what are they, given a couple examples of what they could be, but now let's talk about the ecology of our values. So what sets the values? Where do the influences come from? So this first list is external. A lot of these external values, they come from our world, our human engagement. And this first example would be values that we take from our family and our tribe. We get silent contracts and to honor our family and our tribe. These silent contracts are values that are handed down or assumed from our ancestors, from our community leaders, from our inner circle and our lovers and our loved ones and our spouses. But these can be very clear expectancies. They may not be clear in words or thoughts or rules, but they're very clear in what's expected of you. Another thing that sets our values is our community and our politics. So this is a common agreement of known acceptable ways and behaviors also they set a shared value system to the community, and they are enforced by politics and lawmakers. So that's kind of like the agreement of living safely together in cities across the world, the laws, the rules. Another place that sets our values is our churches and our schools. Our religious and our educational systems within the community set a subset of values within a more specific circle to bring focus and discipline to uphold those special values. Our work environments and our teams also create a subset of values. People working together on the job to run a profitable business and to provide benefits for all employees, for example. Or on a team, like a sports team seeking a championship. Or any group working toward a shared vision or goal creates a set of shared values to support the mission of what they are doing. Rules also create our values. Honoring the rules or breaking the rules each have a powerful set of values that obviously create contrasting values, beliefs, and behaviors. I will honor these rules or I will break these rules. You can see how that ripples in both directions. And the last external example that I have about what sets our values is expectations. What you expect of others and what is expected of you sets emotional values in place that often are triggered for both positive feelings like pride and joy and love and celebration. But there's also negative feelings like disappointment, sadness, anger, loss. And there's values in the negative. Our internal influences of our values. Now we're getting personal. This is within us from our own voice and spirit, your own understanding of your experience, both positive and negative, your love and your fear. It's your desire to belong or to fit in, or when that doesn't happen. It's your own understanding or emotional intelligence of your feelings and your emotions and how you navigate that. Values come from what feels good. Values come from what feels bad. Your capacity from problem solving or getting what you want. How have you been able to survive in the world? Have you stayed warm? How have you gotten food? How have you stayed out of the rain? How have you stayed safe? What keeps you breathing? What keeps you healing? What about your ability to identify what you love and what you adore in your values? I love this and I will go get it. I adore that. Ooh, and it's so beautiful. I must be near it, exposed to it, inside of it. And it's also your tendency to feel and grow your victim story, how you make sense of why the world is hard for you. So here we go. We're going to write again. We're going to go through some questions. I'm going to hand this back over to JP. You ready?
Yes,
Here it comes.
sir.
Thank you, buddy.
So to identify your values in a major area of your life, just follow these steps. So number one, choose an area of life which you'd like to identify your values. Let's say it's health or fitness, career, relationships, family, personal growth, development, spirituality, whatever's coming up for you. Then you're going to ask yourself, what's important to me about fill in the blank of that value. Now write down a list of the words that come to mind.
Yeah. So let's just stop right there for a quick sec. Let's just make sure everybody just pick an idea, a part of yourself just for play. Make it easy. And then just top 5, maybe 10 words. The first thing that comes in, it's why is this important? What's it about? dig it up a little bit. Why does it mean something? Why do you love it? Or why is it hard? Why is it worth it? What's the gift you're receiving? Those kinds of things. Yeah. Back to you.
Right. And then, so when you can't think of anything else, number the words according to their order of the importance to you. Of course, they're all important, but do your best. And
Yeah.
so I'll give you a perfect example in the chat. Someone just asked, can you give examples? So I value my kids, I value work, and I value my friends. My kids are more important than work or friends. So sometimes work and friends have to go to the side because my kids are my number one value. You guys were there one day and I just stopped the meeting. We were all in a meeting one day and the school called and my kids needed me and I just got up and left the meeting. And I apologize to all of you guys for doing that.
Yeah.
But that's where the values go. So you list them in order.
Yeah.
Next, you can rewrite your list of words in the order of importance on a new sheet of paper if you want.
Right. So just kind of think about harvesting the top 5. Right. So that at a glance, they're in order, right? Maybe off in the margin, or if you've got another color pen handy or something like that, just to make them special, to make them stand out. So they're not just in the spaghetti of the original list. Yeah. Now that you have that, right? Now I'm going to go ahead and list. In fact, JP, would you just, this list of values, you know, as JP reads this list, if any of these fit what you guys are doing, or, you know, take them, decorate them, and use them. Go for it, JP.
Yeah, authenticity, achievement like collecting credentials or chasing a carrot, adventure, free spirit or foolish risk taker, authority, autonomy, is it exile others or freedom to create, balance, beauty, boldness, compassion, challenge, citizenship, community, competency, contribution, creativity, curiosity, determination, fairness, giving everyone a voice, faith, fame, friendships, fun. Do you try to avoid discomfort at all costs? How about growth, happiness, honesty, humor, influence? Is it important to you to be right? Inner harmony, justice. Do you call the police on everything? Kindness, knowledge, leadership, learning, love, loyalty, meaningful work, openness, optimism, peace, moving from the city to the woods,
Yeah.
pleasure, poise, popularity, recognition, reputation, respect, responsibility, security, self-respect, service, spirituality, status, trustworthiness, wealth, and wisdom.
Yeah. All right, everybody, just take a breath. You know, these new words, these new concepts that, like, yeah, that's a value and that's important to me. And I love that too. And now let's take a look at that top 5 and rewrite your top 5 if that makes sense. If your top 5 just shifted a little bit, let's just give it that some gravity and some acknowledgement that these are important. And a lot of these values are what got you here today. They got you here. They got you through the good times. They got you through the hard times. They created curiosity. They created puzzles. They created satisfaction and achievement and pride. They got you here. They got you here. Yeah. JP, I'm going to hand this one to you. We're jumping into beliefs now. We're moving from talking about the values themselves. Now we're going to talk about the power of the belief. Right.
So how do your beliefs value, how do our values influence our beliefs?
There you go.
Values influence your beliefs because you use them to decide between alternatives.
Yeah.
Attitudes about our values, beliefs, and behaviors are cornerstones of who we are and how we do things. They form the basis of how we see ourselves as individuals, how we see others, how we interpret the world in general, and what we perceive as possible. You say things like, I like this more because it feels better than, I can't stand for that because it hurt me when. I choose more because it helps us. Or I won't allow that because it hurts. What do you believe about yourself? So now looking at the values that you harvested in the last exercise, ask yourself what you believe about yourself. I know I am worthy of. Fill in the blank.
Yeah. What are you worthy of? And what does worthy mean? What does worthy mean to you? Is there a symbol? Right. Is there a meaning, a color? Worthiness.
I believe I am capable of. Fill in the
What,
blank.
yeah. What can you do? What do you know you can do? That deep knowing, I believe it. I believe I am capable of. I'm good at.
I am significant because. Fill
Ah,
in the blank.
I'm special. I'm unique. There's no one like me. I have a unique gift to give the world. I am significant. What do you believe about being significant? Yeah.
I deserve. Fill in the blank.
Yeah, no, let's give it this one a little minute because I deserve can be loaded. Right? Even if you maybe there's an I deserve that you really want, don't quite believe it yet, but let's put it in there. I deserve to be loved. I deserve money. I deserve satisfaction. I deserve peace. I deserve confidence. I deserve humor. I deserve achievement. I deserve to give and receive. Whatever that is for you.
I experience insight and creative motivation by. Fill in the blank.
Yeah. So what do you believe about your ability to access insight? What do you believe and know to be true about your creative motivation? What motivates you? What lights the fire in your belly, your creative fire? What do you know to be true? What do you believe about your insight? What do you believe about your creative motivation, the fire in your belly? Yeah.
And so that's about us, ourselves. And so then we're going to move on to what do we believe about others. So looking at your values, think about your relationship of all sorts and ask yourself, what do you believe to be true about family,
Yeah.
partners, parents, children, colleagues, strangers, foreigners, elders, lovers, haters? And know that this is going to be different. Each category can have different approaches.
Just read that list one more time, would you, JP?
Yeah. So family, partners, parents, children, colleagues, strangers, foreigners, elders, lovers, and haters.
Yeah. That's about relationships. What do we believe about other people? Yeah. Yeah. Good work, everybody. Good work, everybody.
And now we'll move on to what do you believe about the world? So looking at your values and your beliefs about yourself and others, think about what you believe about the world. And we're going to fill in the blanks again. I know and believe the world is. ...
Now let's let that marinate for a minute. I believe the world is. I know from my own experience. I know and believe the world is. ... Yeah. Good.
Because of my love, I know that the world.
Yeah.
dot, dot, dot.
Because of my compassion, because of my tender warrior heart, because of my love and my understanding of my pain, because I care to care. I know that the world is, I know that the world does, I know that the world reacts because of love, dot, dot, dot.
Because of my struggle and pain proved it to me, I know that the world is.
Because of my suffering and my difficulty and my challenges and my misunderstanding and my hurt and my shadow and my darkness, I know to be true that the world is dot, dot, dot. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for having a peek at your shadow. Thank you. Yeah, now let's step into something good. Let's turn it around into something bright.
Here we're talking about mentors, teachers, heroes, award winners, inventors, record breakers, and the super cool people of the world.
Yes, there we go. Energy shift, everybody. We welcome you to energy shift into who do you think are the superheroes and the super cool people of the world? Who do you admire and honor and adore and just can't wait to meet, have coffee with, and you want to be like them?
Our beliefs are significantly influenced by what we are impressed with. The world recognizes excellence in so many ways across the globe because it absolutely influences our feelings about what we thought was impossible as things become possible. When a new invention changes the culture for the better, or a record is broken, the world sees and experiences a belief shift for everyone. And when we experience a cross-cultural belief shift, the cultural expands into the new possibility, and others rise to see that shifting again. In 1954, on May 6th, Roger Bannister was the first to break the record of running a sub 4-minute mile. He did it in 3 minutes, 59 seconds, 0.4. As of April 2021, the 4-minute mile has been broken by 1,663 people.
Mhm.
It's now a standard in professional running.
That's
That was it.
awesome. Let's talk about that for a quick second, JP, because that's a great example of the impossible not only becoming possible, but it becomes contagious. All of a sudden, oh my God, if you can do it, I can do it too. I love that. So let's just take a second, everybody. Find a moment in your own history when you saw that moment of it. Wow, if you can do it, I can do it too. And your belief shifted. Your belief shifted. Yeah. Now, JP's got a list of examples of things in the world that shifted the human condition on the planet. I'm so excited for this list.
So there's the 12 seconds that changed the world. Orville and Wilbur Wright, the Wright brothers, they invented the first airplane. The first
Right.
flight was December 17th, 1903. It only lasted for 12 seconds, but
Right.
now we can go to San Francisco and have lunch and go back
Yeah.
to New York for dinner.
Right. Thank you, Wilbur and Orville, for changing the scope of the world. The impossible became possible.
Mahatma Gandhi, nonviolent protests, bring the most powerful, the British Empire, to their knees without even using one bullet.
Yep. Again, the impossible becoming possible.
Henry Ford He put 8 cylinders in one block, a V8 engine, and they said it was impossible. It would never happen.
Yep.
And he did that.
Right, and look at what the Ford Motor Company changed the world with automobiles and public transformation and shipping and movement.
Edith, everyone know Edith Weger. She was in 5 concentration camps. And before that, she was a member of the Hungarian Olympic gymnastics team. But in 1942, the Hungarian government enacted new anti-Jewish laws and she was removed from the team. She ended up going through the concentration camps, and in a place like that, somehow she saw herself living into her 90s, and she did.
Mhm. Yeah. I would like to know more about her, actually. I only know a little bit about her. Yeah.
Yeah. There's an interesting story there that she saw belief where nobody else did. And it just shows, like, if you can go there with your brain, that you can make impossible to I am possible.
Right. Well, surviving the concentration camps, I mean, nobody here could possibly even imagine just how fierce that was. I mean, I'm trying to imagine that I can imagine that, but I can hardly even, yeah.
On March 31st, 1959, Tenzin Gyatso fled his home country under the cover of night. You might know him better as His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, but he had to leave his own country.
Yeah.
Because of that, and somehow he forgives the people who forced him out of his own country, and he was the leader of his country. And so that's another one.
And then the role that the Dalai Lama plays today in love and forgiveness and example and spirituality and oneness. The ripple goes and goes and goes and goes. Yeah.
And then fast forward to now, we started with the Wright brothers and airplanes and Henry Ford and cars. And now we just look at Elon Musk. He's got SpaceX, Tesla. He's going to Mars. He's building solar cities, electric cars, electric houses, HVAC systems that the roofing tiles are going to run. So everything that guy does is people are like, no, not going to be able to do that ever, right? And he just says, yeah, that's okay. Instead of that's impossible, he says, I am possible.
Yeah. Every day. Every day.
And so wrapping that up a little bit, Vishen Lakhiani is the reason we're all here tonight. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Vishen.
Mm-hmm. And look what he started, Mind Valley as a meditation online business. And now look at we're major worldwide multi-million billion-dollar company and growing and growing and growing and growing, teaching us all that the impossible is possible. And all of the mentors that he brings in front of us, teaching the same thing. Amazing. Amazing. The validation, the inclusion, the community that we are engaged in, that we run with, our colleagues. I mean, our mentors are becoming our colleagues. Whoa, that's one of my values for sure.
Also have guys like Jack Canfield, who wrote the series Chicken Soup for the Soul. And he was rejected, I think, 164 times by editors. And he just said, I don't believe that. I'm going to keep going. I would have gave up after 5 or 10, but he kept going.
Yeah, right. Yeah, cool. All right. All right. So we all make a difference. We all make a difference in one way or another. We really do. But when we choose to make a difference because our values are, we want to make a difference, it grows significantly. So we're going to jump to future discovery. Okay, all right, what are your dreams? What are your values of your dreams? What are you creating now? What do you just love? Or what would you totally just love to experience in your world, in your life? What role models and teachers and heroes in your world have shown you what they're doing, you can do too. So compared to your current reality right here today, where you are right now, what would you absolutely love to have, gain, achieve, manifest, experience, provide, and perhaps leave behind? What you are doing now is daydreaming about this desire. I invite you to dream gigantically, maybe bigger than you ever have. I give you permission to dream gigantically. These are the choices from the menu of your heart, from your love. So I want to talk about dream intending. Let's intend to dream well. Let's set an intention to dream with childish wonder, endless bliss of possibility. Imagine that you can imagine. Imagine a limitless, full potential, positive, loving, fun, and happy place from which you choose things that you would love. Yeah. It's your river of desire. Yeah. Intend to play and intend to play happily. Intend to dream bigger than ever. Dream intending. We make that choice to dream gigantically. You know, in your journal of dream harvesting, as we harvest the dreams, once again, this is harvesting the new values, the new dream, why it's important, the change you want in your life, and how it's going to make you feel, and the deliciousness of this new dream and these new values. So write down what you would just love. What would you love? What is your dream goal? What do you need to be to have this dream come true? Who do you need to be? What do you have to have for this dream to come true? Things that you would love to have or love to be. Who or what will support you in this gigantic dream coming true? Who will your dream influence the most? And how? Your tribe, your community, the planet. And how will it feel to have achieved this goal? Step into the end result as if it's done already, just like we've done in this work. Imagine 1 year ahead looking back. Imagine 3 years ahead having achieved so much looking back. And what will be possible when you finish this goal? What's not possible now that became possible because this dream came true? So what would you love to see right now for yourself, personally? Just for you, just you. Yeah. And what would you love to see right now for the people closest to you, your intimate inner circle, your inner tribe? And what would you love to see right now for your community, your city and town? And what would you love to see right now for your country? And what would you love more than anything right now for the world, the whole world? Now let's talk about choosing feelings. If you get to dream up your feelings, how do you wish to feel every day? How do you wish to feel when you wake up? How do you feel when you wake up? How do you feel when you're at home? How do you feel at work? And how do you choose to feel at play? And how do you choose to feel with your family? And how do you choose to feel when you are alone, by yourself, in solitude? So let's call that dream one. Dream one, the first dream in the queue, the one we're working on today, right here, right now, in this workshop, with every breath that we take. Now let's get out the silver white rope and put it around, the cosmic silver white rope, and protect it and put it around this dream, these choices, these delicious opportunities and delicious desires and wishes of the heart. And that silver white rope, tie the knot around it to protect it, and we'll use it as the stepping stone to create dream two. If the first dream is done and complete, what's now possible in dream two? Once the first dream comes true, what are the following dreams that one made possible? Dream one unlocked the door for dream two. So what could be dream two? If maybe the first dream was about you, maybe dream two is about your life, your family, your community. And if dream two blew the gates off and made room for dream three, maybe that's about your gift, your work, your service, the impact in the world, the gift that you're giving. What is dream three? And if dream three cleared the way for the gigantic gift of dream four, maybe dream four is the results, the money, the success, the freedom, the legacy. What is dream four? And if dream four gave you the abundance and the light behind the legacy to get to dream five, and now what? I dare you to dream gigantically. What is your dream five? Because when we focus on dreams 4 and 5, universe, source, creator, creativity looks at dreams 1 and 2 and goes, oh, and we're done. And we're done. So we harvest our dreams. We look forward from this magical place. So let's harvest the values of how dream 1 creates dream 2, and then 3, then 4, then 5, and on and on. And the confidence that we get from creating and then creating again and creating again. So here's where we harvest our values. We harvest them. And this is where there's so many. There is so many, like that delicious list from before. JP read that amazing long list, and plus the ones you guys thought up on your own. Harvest these new values attached to the new dream. Maybe some of these have never been on your menu before. Maybe thoughtfulness, special needs, spirituality, quality, orientation, originality, patriotism, imagination, independence, whatever they are for you. There's so many. Grab that notebook and pen. When you define your future dreams, from that place of love, you discover what is truly important, the why beneath the why, the goal underneath the goal, right? The answers to those amazing open-ended questions. Right? As we unpack and dig deeper, let's start by harvesting your highest values by taking a look at dream 1, dream 2, the loving deliciousness of dreams 1 and 2, maybe 2 and 3. Go a little deeper. If it went from personal to community, from community to service, from service to results, and results to legacy, how does that make you feel? When you have results that create legacy, how does that make you feel? Now harvest those thoughts, those emotions, those possibilities. Do the work of noticing. Notice what's popping in for you about what's possible. Notice if there's a little doubt or resistance, that's okay too. And then give it permission to be. And then dream big, dream bigger. Invite your child within to remind you that you can dream imaginatively, endlessly possibility. And you get to and you can. So from right here, right now, looking back, there's no need to relive or explain anything. This is about short, first impulse ideas that come to you when you are asked questions about yourself. Trust your mind, write down those first thoughts and words. And now remember times that you felt really good. When did you feel really good? And remember it right now. Remember times when you felt lucky. So lucky. The world is good. Things are happening. I'm so lucky. Remember times when you were super confident, and then you made choices from that confidence. You made choices from that luck. You made choices from feeling really good. When we're feeling this good, what are your family values? The values of your family, top 3. When you're thinking about your new family, what you're creating now, the top three values. And now your work values. If you get to choose your work and choose how you want to be at work and how you want to feel at work and be in your bliss at work, what are your top 3 chosen lovely values about work? And now think about play. When you're at play with your friends and free time and creativity and laughing and singing and dancing and cooking and eating and celebrating with your, how do you play? Now think about your relationship with money, your money values, your new chosen values around money, not your old money story, your new, delicious, loving, and chosen money story, your new relationship with money. Yeah, so good, so possible. Now think about your health. You're choosing your relationship with your body, your physical body, your values around your relationship with your physical health, your mental health, your ability to think and feel, your emotional health, your emotional intelligence, using your emotions as a tool to jet fuel your creations. And think about your values around your spiritual health, your connection to source, aha moments, and your creativity. Yeah, think about your community and your tribe, your values about who you want to be and how you want to be together in this lovely, new, created way. And now come back to you. With all of that behind you, as you have this new relationship with yourself and what you're creating, what are your new self-values that you choose, that you want to be? Who do you want to be? And how do you want to feel? And what do you want to do? And who do you want to do it with? And where do you want to do it? Yeah. Remember, the first few are the surface answers. But as we dig a little deeper, your heart opens a little more into the real values, the why beneath the why, the real goal beneath the goal. We go from a value to a core value, to a deep root value. And we do this work by dreaming in the realm of what's possible. Because this creates motivation. This creates delight and good feelings. This creates happiness and joy and gratitude in such abundance so that when we have challenges, the joy and the goodness outweigh them. So find a time in your world when you were the happiest, just the happiest. Pick a memory, just pick a time when you were the happiest. And where were you? And who were you with? And what were you doing? And why did this make you so very happy? And what was the big truth underneath the joy? Was it connection, satisfaction, confidence, growth, opportunity? What was it for you? Do the same thing with pride. When in your life were you so very proud? What were you proud of? What made you proud? And what was the effort required or the necessary sacrifice, perhaps, to be so proud? I'm so proud. I love you so much. I'm so proud. Who was there to share it with you? What made it possible to be so proud? And what was now possible after that? Remember a time when you were satisfied like a good meal. I feel good. after dinner, not too full, but satisfied. Nutritious, delicious, amazing. Maybe spiritually satisfied, intellectually satisfied, physically satisfied. What filled you up so much? What need or want did this satisfy? And how did this give your life more magic and more goodness? What accomplishments are inside your satisfaction? What have you accomplished? Yeah. And now you're getting a feel for this harvesting of your values. Let's go in a little bit deeper with some specific areas of your life. Again, now remember, top 5, top 3 or 5, whatever pops in your head first. What was filling your well? How do you know your well is filling? What fills your well? How do you know that your well is indeed filling? How did it feel to be filling up your well? And how did it feel to be fully filled and overflowing? And how did you share this abundance with the world? What was important? And what else was important? Up until now, when you look back, what used to be important? What had your attention because? What did you spend your time on and spend your money on? Now let's look forward. What has your attention now? What do you consider spending time on now? Where will you spend your money and make an investment now? I have to, because the idea of I have to, not so much the old, oh, I have to get it done. I have to get it done. No, it's the gigantic deliciousness. I have to, I love it so much. I have to try that wine. I have to try that dinner. I have to go on that adventure. I have to be with you and these people. I have to have that conversation. I have to, oh my gosh, I feel so good. I have to, I'm so excited. I have to. I took a stand for. I take a stand for. What do you take a stand for? And why? What are you taking a stand for? Yeah. Good, everyone. Good. Very good, everyone. Thanks for playing in this park. Now I want to talk a little bit of, we're going to jump into, now we're getting to the end. We've got a little bit more to go. We're almost there. Values into beliefs, and now we're going to talk about behaviors. And I wanted to put it in this way and in this order today, to talk about values and then to look at our old values. And then to talk about the power of our dream intending, about what's possible, what we love so much, our mentors and our heroes and our examples, and who we want to be like. Because when we're hanging out in that exercise, what do you now think is possible? What are your behaviors now? As you create this new world, as you dream the impossible dream into possibility, this new set of behaviors. Because when you believe, you really believe. Because if you say, I can't, you won't. But if you say, I will, then you do. So where's your belief? You know, I love that we go to the tchotchke stores or the antique stores and we see the little things that say, I believe, I believe, I believe, and they're beautiful. And somebody made that of their creativity to remind us that we believe, we believe. So what do you believe and why are you believing right now? JP, let's talk about belief. Belief results, values turning into beliefs, turning into behaviors. We're behaving now from our beliefs. How do you want to behave?
Can you think of a time when something you believe was impossible for you became possible? How about riding a bicycle, baking a perfect cake, learning to type, driving a car, traveling the world, falling in love, becoming a coach?
Yeah.
How did these things shift your perspective of the world?
Yeah. We've witnessed the impossible become possible. We've harvested a few examples of other humans doing really neat things. You know, that we can also look further into the world of medicine and science, evolution, farming, food production, technology, inventions, heroes, award medals. As we imagine things that we never thought we could do, we see ourselves doing now. Like here we are, we're coaches becoming coaches, building practices, collaborating with one another, creating, we're in creation space together, and then we stand up together in front of each other so that we know that we all can. I know there's some of my values, I know there's some of those JP's values, and that's why a lot of us are here today. And as we step into these behaviors, we harvest these new values and we feel the amazing feelings behind them, obvious next steps occur. All of a sudden, the impossible dream that we could never consider becomes possible. We go, oh my gosh, 10 baby steps makes a big step. And then 10 big steps means a miracle occurred. And here we are, taking action towards what we're doing here. This is when we switch from looking backwards to looking forwards. Our old values got us here in every way, our suffering and our hurt and our pain, our wisdom, our woundedness turned to wisdom. Our suffering turns to satisfaction. And when that happens, the only thing left to do is create from a place of love. We set our values in creation, and then we create. Our values become our beliefs. Oh my God, I created something. Now I believe I can. And I believe you can too. We've seen so many of our mentors say, oh my God, if I can do it, you certainly can. And they mean it because of their own self-doubt, their own suffering, their own stuck. We climb out of our story and stand on top of our story. We shout our rooftop message to the world to say, if I could do it, you can too. And I'm here to root you on. I'm here to root you on. Yeah. JP, some thoughts.
So once we finish that, we move on to new values.
New values. What are these new values? Now, I don't have a lot prepared here under new values, but I gave a hint to it just now. Okay, like this contagion is contagious. This new value, these new emotions, this new feeling, this creative consciousness is contagious. As we hang out in the realm of what is possible now. What is possible now, these new values, this new harvesting of the new values, the dream behind the dream 1, dream 2, dream 5, dream 10. I think what we should do now, JP, is let's open the room to some feedback. How'd you guys do? We took you on a journey. We asked you guys to kind of sit with us and trust us to lead you and ask you some questions. Harvest some thoughts, maybe some new thoughts. A way to look backwards for a moment to understand what got you here. And as we switch craft forward, we turn ourselves around about what we love and what we want and desire. And we gave permission to be a child and to dream gigantically. Yeah. What'd you learn? What did you take away? Anybody would like to share? Would anybody like to pop in about your journey with us today? Thanks for playing full out. Thanks for listening. Yeah, Lorene, welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, hi, thanks so much. This is really a great exercise. I feel that it was good for me to revisit my values because I haven't in a little while.
Mhm.
And especially the one with the values of one of my values is freedom. And I realized that when I have one of my values is sharing and caring,
Mhm.
and also being of service and love. But I also realized that freedom is really up there. So it's like I won't sacrifice my freedom. Um, if sharing means sacrificing my freedom, I won't do that. Like it
Right.
depends on, those. So it's a really, what I was really getting a feel for tonight was like this balance of values. Like
Right.
what is the balance and how do I perceive that? And then just, and then going back to the either positive and negative values or polarity or whatever you want to say, is just that, with sharing and caring, comes boundaries. I have to not overdo it with all my caring, that I'm not caring for myself, or that I'm sharing so much that, and I've done this before where I've had like a potluck once, and we made all this, not a potluck, but we had a afternoon dinner party, and we made so much food and had so much fun. And then everybody left, and I realized I didn't eat anything. So I had to go out to eat after my own afternoon party, which is hilarious. But another example of like, you got to take care of yourself. You got to care about yourself as much as you do others. And so I just really like the ebb and flow of like looking at these values, but also like seeing what were they before and what are they becoming. And so that was really helpful for me. And I think that that's going to be something I'll do more work on in the next coming days about my new values too, and maybe reassessing them, or just kind of looking at that on the spectrum of those values, how they're working for me, how they're not.
Yeah. That last section that I didn't really create a lot of that for JP and I to talk about because I knew that we would talk about it in this open forum. And one of the things that I love to do and have my clients do with their new values, especially if it's a top 5, is that you put those top 5 values where you see them every day, on your fridge, on your dashboard, your bathroom mirror, wherever it is. And as you're making decisions about your life, especially the old autopilot decisions, you compare them to your new values. But wait, just like you said, Lori, it's like, well, wait a minute, freedom, wait a minute, that's threatening my freedom. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to raise the power on my freedom. We use it as a way to make decisions and compare our dreams to what we're creating. Yeah. Robin. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, so what I was thinking, like my older values were more kind of like concrete, kind of like earthbound, kind of, like integrity and responsibility and blah blah blah, and family and all this stuff. And like the new value is just like possibility, expansiveness, boldness, like just like go for anything, and like more towards spirituality, like not even spirituality, just like all inclusive everything, and so it's just like a whole different realm of value. It's just like not even
Right.
in the same old like limit of value, so it's totally different.
Yeah. And so how does that make you feel?
Good. Yeah, really empowered, I think. It's
Empowered.
a whole different thing. Yeah.
Okay, now when you're empowered, how do you feel?
Good. Like, yeah, it's like sort of like a limitless creativity, like total like flow kind of things. It's good.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. It's just like, you just like tap into that whole energy, and I don't know. It just seems like it is possible, and it's a value. It could be a value. It's just like
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we harvest the feelings with our values. The values are emotional and they make an emotional impact on us. So let's use that to our advantage. Yeah. Right on, Robin. Thank you. Nina, welcome.
Hi, I felt this was very, very deep. And for me, I would love to have more time to process.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
also, since I'm going through my own transformation right now on all sorts of levels, I feel like my values are pretty much the same in each category, but also maybe diving deeper, maybe some will kind of shift. But I don't know, it's just very interesting. It was like, wow, you took us to a lot of places,
Yeah.
a lot of deep places. It was very good. Thank you.
Right on, right on. And it, when I was first jumping into value work myself as a coaching concept and like putting myself as, self-coaching, putting myself in the client's chair, I had kind of had a hard time dreaming forward because I realized I hadn't done my dream work. That a lot of my pain and suffering and hesitation and resistance was coming because I didn't know where I was going, but I didn't know that at the time. But when I started looking at my values, my new values, how I want to feel and what I would like to experience in the world, that little door opened a little more, and then a different playground presented itself to me. And then I dared to go in and like hang out there. And part of me wanted to run away, like, nope, my old values are still got me. I'm still anchored in the past. I'm still anchored in what I'm doing now. But because I haven't quite dared dream forward enough. Right. But then I kept hanging out with those new values and it got me there. And now I'm anchored in the future way more than I'm anchored in the past, and that's that transformation journey. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Nina, for sharing.
Thank you.
JP, do you have some thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you're going through lots of changes and you're starting to assess your values and what values serve me. Do they still serve me now? What are the new ones? Something with beliefs and values is you can change them on the spot, like if you want. And so the best way to do that is to shut out all distractions. If that means you got to go hike in the woods for a bit and get away from everyone and everything, leave your cell phone behind, your Netflix and all that stuff. And then you have nothing but yourself to think about and figure it out. And I find that once you have your list of values, sleep on it. Don't just, this is my values and now I'm going forward. Sleep on it, come back to it and play with it for a little bit. And it's important to rank them, right? Because you could write down all the list, and we threw a lot of information at you tonight, and it was just for the sake of time to try to get through all of it. But the values might change over time. They will change over time. But it's important to rank your values and make sure when you're making decisions, especially bigger decisions, is this decision that I'm making due to this value? Is there other values that are more important that I'm forsaking just to make this decision? And that's why it's so important to rank them, because it could backfire. Like if you just say, okay, I'm doing this because this is my value, and you're telling yourself that, but then there's a higher value that you have that might get trumped somehow, then it's not really worth it. You always want to go with your highest values first and then order it down like that.
Yeah, ranking them, putting it in order, and then you'll realize that that might change a little bit from day to day as you grow or you achieve or you get proud of yourself, or your demands and your values change as your projects and your choices change. So let them be flexible, let them guide you. Let your values guide you. Yeah, Marina.
Yes, I will second with GPS. So it's a self-work as well and a coaching work, like to elicit values, to help client to rank it and to see where unhappiness and satisfaction come when you're not living according to your top values. And that's where your action coming from behavioral. You can train yourself and to guide yourself. And the same with the client. So ranking value, like what does it do for you? Eliciting value, like what make you happy and why? All these important questions for sure.
Yeah. Right. Well, and I think, like you mentioned a little bit about like unhappiness, there's values backing those things up. There's we carry values in our uncomfortable feelings. We
Yes.
talked about that a little bit in the journey there, but that's definitely worth some unpacking and hanging out with and meditating on.
Right, right. I believe it's a Steve Andreas work, self-concept, when they're talking about that, when we embrace all our shadows, and because it's just something that not at the time it was serving us when we was children, it was protecting us, whatever it was,
Right.
whatever dysfunctional way, and finding value in that and adding to the top of actual values and making it work for us, even those shadows. Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
Right. The value of our shadow work.
Yeah.
And the value of our work with the light. And the value of making them equal. One doesn't weigh more than the other. It takes duality, it takes polarity for a creative spirit to have a human experience. That's why we play in this play park. Right. That's so much of what we're doing here. It's making our shadow and our light stories in balance. In balance. Yeah. Any other thoughts, questions, or comments from the tribe? Values, beliefs, behaviors. Anybody else? Cool. Andrea, do you have anything to say?
Well, I'm processing all this, but the most fascinating part for me was your discussion of dream 1, dream 2, dream 3, dream 4.
Mhm.
And remember, I'm on a pilgrimage of allowance,
Yes.
and I'm also trying to influence that allowance by dreaming and manifesting.
Uh-huh.
And at the same time, dealing with some of my personal saboteurs, my avoider, and all that. So this continues to be a very interesting game I'm playing and navigating this whole process. And while you were talking, I was reflecting, you were saying small steps, 10 small steps become a large step and all that. And somehow my mind went back to when I hesitated whether or not I should have joined CLC.
Uh-huh.
And I remember distinctly before I went to bed that night, I said, subconscious, give me some guidance tomorrow morning.
Mhm.
And when I woke, my intuition said to me, if you don't register, you'll regret it.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I'm just reflecting on all that and thinking, wow, that was a step I hesitated to make because of the cost and because, I wasn't certain how the whole thing will go.
Right.
And look at where I am now. Look at all these wonderful people I've met and all the associations and relationships. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we need to be aware of our values, and love and service are some of my values.
Mhm.
And we need to engage in pursuing them and living them.
Yeah.
And that will only contribute to our personal happiness, joy, satisfaction, as well as service.
Yes.
So thank you and JP for putting all this material together. I continue turning up every time because I always leave a better version of myself. So thank you so much.
Oh, Andrea, it's always so good to have you with us, and I really appreciate you, one, playing full out and being reflective about your experience with us. I really
Yeah.
appreciate your vulnerability. Yeah, thank you. And
You're welcome.
yeah, okay, resistance and hesitation. Wow, our intuition when we say yes to the impossible, when we're willing to go through the silver gate of the unknown. When we're willing to go into the unknown, we do our threshing, and we take care. The old coat doesn't fit anymore because we're growing. We're in our growth opportunity. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. When we're willing to grow, our values change. Our values change and shift, and we're in control of that. Now, I want to bring a little of that context. Okay, so now most of us here are coaches and we're working with clients. In my coaching practice, when I work with a brand new client, values comes up right away. What got you here? Why does your pain matter? And what do you love? And what would you just love to have? What do you think is possible? What do you not think is possible? And why is not thinking that's possible? How does that help you? And how does thinking something else is possible an opposite value? And then we can, that creative structure, that creative tension that we've talked about so much. When all of a sudden the anchor in the future becomes so deeply anchored, and the one in the past, we pull it up, pull the rope up and hang it on the back of the ship as the future dream pulls us toward it. And then like tonight, we talked about your current values that got you here. And then we talked about dreaming. We talked about possibility, and we talked about harvesting the new values. So somewhere in the coaching journey, we come back to values again and notice that they're different. They're different because of the science of transformation. When we get your intellect on your team with all of this good work that we share with each other, and we all are specialists here. We all have a gift to give. Health coach, business coach, holistic coach, whatever kind of coach you are, NLP coach, transition coach, insight coach, whatever it is, nutrition. We all have a gift to give, and we give that wisdom. Yeah. Laureen.
Yeah, I just wanted to share something that was coming up as you were talking, that we touched on, and that has been so profound for me, is that when your values are, I'll say, challenged, I've had incredible feelings in my body, emotional and pain. And I'll give an example. When one of my values is sharing and caring, right? And I came up against that very strongly several months ago, when after I had separated from my partner 16 years, and I was exiting that relationship, and things were separated financially and everything and stuff, but he was not getting out of my house that now was mine. And I literally had to take his stuff out of my house and put it in his house, which was right next door. And I had to build a fence and make this really strong boundary. And it was so hard in my body because my values were telling me, you're not being caring. You're not being caring. I came up against that in a way that I can tell you, in my body, it was like I was fighting myself. And so it was just really interesting how that value of caring about myself and caring for another person was in such conflict that I had to basically, overcome that by anchoring into what I wanted my future to be, what I wanted to move forward with. And so and then I was just thinking about how when people have values that we don't agree with, and we have these triggers of anger or resentment, and I just thought, so I feel like the whole sensation of the you're feeling in your body of these values are such amazing indications of either your priorities of them or your experience with them and how they may be shifting or changing. So,
Right.
Yeah.
The VAC, the VAC, that your visual, audio, kinesthetic, smell, taste as well. It's like what's going on, your sixth sense as well. When we feel it in our bodies, we have a deep sense of knowing. Our body intelligence shows up. But are we listening to our body intelligence? Are we listening to our intuition? We're all intuitive, but have we practiced our ability to do it? To listen in that way, when we know what's valuable and why it's meaningful, right? We do the work of the rustic gate, which is about returning to creativity, because when we're not creative, that's when we are invited to join the conscious walking dead. Now, those are big words coming from the cultural anthropologist Angeles Arrien. Because when we go against our creativity, we are stagnant and we enter depression and darkness. And we join the conscious walking dead. And that's a story from the cultures of the world, not just one, but many. But when we come back to creativity and generativity, and we are intimate with ourselves in that way to be creative, to connect to source, it is our responsibility to generate creativity. And when we do that, we rise above and we connect to our ability to be in service that is greater than us. And that feels amazing. And when we do that, we are contagious because we become the example. We are the example. And one of my values, especially here in this world with you, working with coaches on this journey, is I want to be the example so that I don't just talk about it for you. I show it to you in who I am, my walk in life. The example that I walk in my shoes, that I walk in my clothes, that I walk in this body, that I walk in my spirit as I come to these circles, because it heals me and it feeds me. When I do this work, I heal too, and I heal way more efficiently and more quickly than if I just work on me. And in order to do that, I access creativity, right? So what are you dreaming? What are you creating? And how does that feel? Amazing. Amazing. It feels amazing. And amazing is contagious. So there's a little bit of that little diatribe right there about like why I'm here and what I do and why I do it. And how I see myself reflected in every one of you who come here. And that feeds my soul. It keeps me here. It keeps us doing what we're doing. So thank every one of you for bringing your tender warrior hearts into the playpen with us today to do this work, so that we can create videos like this, content like this, so that we can send the ripple into the world in a bigger and more beautiful way every time we come together. So with that, let's close our circle. Any last thoughts? As we know, we're about almost 15 minutes past the hour. We're a little bit over time. Thank you all for staying on. But any last thoughts as we say farewell? Aha moments, announcements, love letters. Yeah.
I just put in the chat, Corey, this is just so heart-centered, and I just really appreciate it. I mean, this is exactly where it should be coming from, and I appreciate you using that in this.
Yeah. Thank you.
I feel it.
Yeah. Thanks for calling it out. Because that's how we grow it. That's how we grow it. Yeah. Thanks, Nina. I'm so glad you're here with us.
Thanks.
Donna, hi, love. You're on mute, my dear.
All righty, just to finish off what I wanted to contribute to the world, to be the superhero, to show up. I wanted everybody to look that said, there's Donna, she showed up what she was supposed to do. And I said, well, wait a minute, why do I want to leave that for the future? I'm just doing it now. And I said, this is so exciting because the realization of it, here I am, I'm the superhero for what I'm telling people, because I'm sharing the joy, and I can see the people coming and just trying to, just telling them the things that I know, and through my happiness, I could see them becoming happy. That's all.
Yeah. Contagious. A gift that we're willing to give because it gives and gives and gives. Thanks, Don. Yeah. Anybody else? Melissa, do you have something to share? I always love when Melissa says something.
Thanks.
Hi, love.
Hi. I'm kind of feeling like people who say they're still processing that. I'm like, yeah, that's a nice way of putting it, because damn, that was a lot.
It was a lot. Yeah. It's big. You're right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it really is. And I think for myself, my priorities and values are so centered around my immediate family, my husband and son. And my son's 19 now, so it's like a huge transition
Right.
in my life because, you know, he doesn't need my attention all the time. And
Yeah.
I don't have to think of things to do for him. So it's good. I need to do more work with this. I think my brain is much more slow moving. So, but it's good. I think it's good work for me. And I definitely I want to do more with the dreams. I think you have like a couple of your first meetings on Sutra are about that, aren't they?
Yeah, dream harvesting in the Dream Cafe. Yeah,
I had missed those, but I want to watch them.
yeah, they're there for you. Totally. And I think we'll come back to dream intending and dream harvesting. I'm actually I'm writing some content on dream intending and dream harvesting right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because it's important to be able to dream, especially because that was my story, Melissa. You know, it's like I realized I hadn't done my dreaming, and that's why I was suffering. Because I was stuck, and I didn't know why I was stuck, because I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where to put my focus. Right?
Yeah, I'm totally that way. I need to learn that.
Yeah. And so this work opens the gate for us to do just that, harvesting your values. What do you value about your future? And we use that as a way to make decisions. We compare the decisions of today and tomorrow against the values of our new dreams. That's exactly why we're doing this work today. That's what it's about. And it is big work, which is why, you know, when I asked you guys to write notes and maybe symbols and not sentences, but, you know, images, words, and drawings, is because tomorrow, when you come back and look at your notes, you're going to see them through a new set of lenses. You're going to reveal a new layer of wisdom that will come through. So look for that. Look for the next layer of wisdoms that will come through the notes you took tonight, as your values shift and grow and morph into who you're becoming. Yeah. Marina.
Just briefly, a lot of reflection, but it's a tall order to live your value continuously, intentionally. Waking up, I want to show up today, and what is my intentions, and at night to see, noticing, did I do it, or where I could have done better without judgment. And it's so satisfying, especially in leadership, like truly. And I love this metaphor working that it's like a mental fog, how you can lift in people, like 9 to 5 mentality, and having like stay interview, seeing what people have value and playing it and helping people to realize and to live by that. It's coaching, it's leadership. It's all about that, and self-leadership too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, thanks, Maria. You're absolutely right. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Last minute thoughts? Yeah, Lorene.
I feel like I just wanted to round out what I was saying about earlier was that, and it kind of came in when about leadership too and self-leadership, is that when I did put myself first in my separation with my ex, a couple weeks ago, he contacted me, but he like lives next door. He was out of town. He came back in town and said, you know, I don't want to have bad vibes. Apologized for some of the ways he was acting. Has, you know, connected and wanting to be civil and helpful, which by no means did I expect at all. And by no means was part of that was what I was doing, even with my own forgiveness process, you know, with our relationship and him and all that. But it was just, you know, it was just a bonus. And it's just such a relief to know that, like, when you do put yourself first, no matter how that can feel in the moment, whether it be in a business situation as a leadership and with teams, there are tremendous rewards and gifts in that.
Big time.
So, and I've experienced that. And so that's part of I experience it. So I want to, you know, pay it forward and have other people know that that can be something. So I'm grateful for the experience and for these circles to share that and learn from everyone. So thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Most welcome. Yes, yes, yes. Anything from JP? And then I have a last final thought.
Yeah, I've just kind of been thinking here while we're talking. It might be a good exercise as well to try and revisit how your values have changed just since the last 3 or 4 months since we did this course, because all of us have changed in
Yeah.
gigantic ways. And then one other one, it's in the workshop we just did, but it sticks out to me is that if there's values that you admire in other people or values that you want to have that you don't currently have, write those down too, and you can go and get them. You can switch them out, just like beliefs.
Yes. Yeah, thanks, JP. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Mentors, heroes, and our teachers. That comes from that. So I saved this for last, especially because this comes from Vision Lakiani, founder of Mind Valley. He does a values workshop that I found on YouTube a long time ago, and I went and found it and watched it again. And he does a cool thing. And so I don't want you guys to do this tonight, but maybe tomorrow, or the next time you're hanging out with the list that you made today, is that I want you to get a new piece of paper and make 3 columns, or maybe 3 pieces of paper. Pardon me. And don't put a title on the 3 columns or the 3 pieces of paper. But what I want you to do is go through the notes that you took tonight and divide all of them into 3 categories. Maybe this value goes over here, and this one goes here, and this one goes over here. And then these go over here, and these go over here. You all took a lot of notes tonight. So divide them in 3. And don't ask why. Don't ask why. Just feel the essence that these 3, this one, and this one, these 3 categories, they all have something in common. They have something similar. They're related. They're mirroring each other. They're in alignment. They're friends. They have lessons similar. And then after you've done this harvesting of putting all of those delicious words and details and symbols and drawings or whatever it was for you in these 3 categories, and then step back for a minute. And then that's when you name the 3 categories. Now, this is a way that Vision teaches us to get to the 3 deepest, core, monumental, most meaningful values. Feel that. All that juicy goodness that we just dreamt up and harvested and wrote down tomorrow, not now. A new space after a nap and a meal and a prayer and a walk. Come back and take this workshop one step further and divide it in 3 and make a gigantic list of all those notes, divide them in 3, and then figure out what the names of those 3 things are, those 3 areas or places. And when Vision was talking about this, I laughed because he said, maybe there's a name for that doesn't exist yet. Maybe it's a name you make up. Maybe it's a power name, a spirit name, something that means so much. It's all of that in one. And maybe if it's not a concept or a category, maybe it's a pet name, a name of your choice, but divide it in 3 as your 3 deepest, seated, core deep values. I just thought I'd try that on. When we come back together, we'll ask you about that. Or if we don't ask you about it, you think of it, bring it up, bring it into the circle, bring it into the chat. Because I think that, Vision's right about doing that work. Because then those 3, those top 3, those words, those symbols, those names become the most meaningful thing of all as we create our futures. As we create our futures together. As we hold hands in this circle and we do it together. That's what we're doing. All right, everyone. With that, I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks everyone for being here, and thank you so much for playing Full Out. I'm Corey Three Wing, and this was Guest JP.